Greetings, Ian from R.T.O here. Welcome to another classic album review. And today, I think this is the very first real jazz album that I've actually done a review on. And this sort of keeps in with what we've done today already, part one of the Gong Scut story. So I thought I'd carry on with the sort of jazz feel today. Now this is an album that I heard many years ago. And it's the first one that I really got me into jazz. And the reason is I had a friend whose dad was into jazz. Sadly my friend's no longer with us. It's a great shame. One of the first friends I lost at an age that you don't normally lose your friends. But his dad was a real jazz freak and played trumpet in that, and this is an album that he put on, and I was totally blown away by it because he knew I like prog music and psychedelic music and all that fusion stuff, so he just says listen to this and see what you think, and it blew me away. And the album I'm talking about is Empyrean Isles by Herbie Hancock. Herbie Hancock, of course, known for all sorts. I mean, he's a jazz pianist, keyboardist, band leader, trumpeter, played with Miles Davis Quintet, and then he started in the 70s experimenting with jazz fusion, funk and electro styles, and then of course he had that big hit in the 80s called Rocket, which is pretty cool for the time, and I reckon he's the guy that really made jazz more user-friendly and brought it more to the masses. Now the Empyrean Isles is the fourth album by Herbie Hancock, and it was recorded in 1964 for Blue Note Records, and it features Hancock with his Miles Davis bandmates, the great Ron Carter, drummer Tony Williams, and trumpeter Freddie Hubbard, who was a pretty great trumpeter. So the band was Herbie Hancock, who played the piano on this, Freddie Hubbard cornet and trumpets, Ron Carter on the bass, and Tony Williams on drums. Now there's not many tracks on this. I think there's only 4, but they are really good tracks and quite long. First one is called One Finger Snap. I love jazz drumming, and Tony Williams, looked into him. I mean, he's played with loads of people, and it's just a great rhythm on this, and then you get this lovely piano from Herbie Hancock, great bass line, and then you got this great cornet sort of trumpet sound from Fred Hubbard. Proper jazz music. None of this everyone playing their own thing. Everything's in clicks here. It's 7 minutes long, but it's just I don't know if this has got some improv in there, but it just flows. It's a really good track. Very relaxing. Proper piano cocktail bar music. Second track on here is called, got to get this right, Oliloqui Valley. This starts off with a great shuffle. I love that sort of shuffly drumming. And then you get the complemented Ron Carter bass line. Drives the song along. And then on comes Mr. Hancock and Mr. Carter just to add to it. And the interplay between Hancock and Carter on this is absolutely fantastic. They sort of try and outwit each other. It's really, really good. 8 minutes 28 of fun. Then we get Cantaloupe Island. This is my favourite track on here. Now the other sort of jazz sort of music I like, and that's Dave Brubeck. Or Brubeck, something like that. Got brought that with that song Take 5. You know, great song. But this is brilliant. Herbie's piano playing on here is terrific. Again, I don't know how much of this was planned, but it's just very coherent. It's a very enjoyable track. And the last track is called The Egg. What a track this is. It's an interesting track. There's sort of different moods on here. You get some lovely drumming on here, and it's done with the brushes, and there's nothing better than hearing drums with brushes. It's got that real nice, I love that sound it gets, and the bass line goes so well. He's playing like lead on a bass. And then you get solo bits from the bass and the trumpet and a bit of a solo. Again, is this track more improv than actually thought? You just don't know, because it goes into this very gentle, and then all of a sudden the drums come back into prominent, Tony Williams, and then everyone sort of follows, and you get this great little trumpet piece from Fred. It's just a really, really strong track. When this came out, AllMusic reviewer Stephen Thomas Edwin called it a record that officially established Hancock as a major artist in his own right. AllMusic gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The Rolling Stone of Jazz Music Guide gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and the Penguin Guide to Jazz gave it 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 4 stars, sorry. Now personally, I think this is one of the most important jazz albums. It made it more accessible to people. Herbie Hancock really jazzed it up a little bit, excuse the pun, and defined that rhythm section in a jazz band. I love in listening to this. It's pretty mellow in places. It's got some lovely piano, and it's an album that I play a lot, believe it or not. And you people think that's how my music is. 1 minute I'm listening to thrash metal, and then I'll go and put on this, because it's a pretty cool album. So I'm going to give this an R.T.O ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay folks, that's all for today, because I'll be watching the football later. So everything's been done in the morning when it's a bit dark and dingy. But someone asked me on the live stream last week, how are you going to fit all this in and do football? Easy. Anyway, talking of the live stream, has anyone watched the little spooky bit? There's something spooky going on in this flat. Go and have a check of that. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're really rocking it back up. We're going to be looking at the albums of Tremonti. Of course, it's Mark Tremonti from Creed and Alter Bridge. And tomorrow's retro ranking is something that's been asked for by quite a lot of people. After we did the album ranking a little while ago, I finally got round to doing my favourite songs by The Jam. So tomorrow it's all rock and roll tomorrow. So have a good day everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.